In the last 10 seconds, somewhere between 6 and 8 million of your own cells died. On purpose. Your body ordered it. That's not damage. That's not illness. That's roughly 50 to 70 billion cells your body deliberately executes every single day, just to keep itself running. A level of control that's almost surgical.
So here's what should actually bother you. A system that precise can't figure out how to stop your knees from wearing out? Can't stop your skin from thinning? Your memory from slipping? That doesn't add up. Not unless aging was never a malfunction in the first place.
Over the next 10 minutes, we're breaking down the real reason your body is built to fall apart, using actual evolutionary biology and cell science, not the wear and tear explanation you've heard 100 times. You'll find out why an animal the size of a mouse can outlive it eightfold, why a shark alive today might be older than your country. And by the end, you'll know the exact switch inside your own cells that's aging you right now, and simultaneously protecting you from something you're far more afraid of.
This isn't speculation. In 2023, the journal Cell published the field's defining framework, mapping 12 measurable cellular-level hallmarks of aging shared by every human being on Earth. And it all traces back to a discovery in 1961 that overturned everything scientists thought they understood about why cells die at all. Chapter 1. If your body can coordinate the death of 70 billion cells a day with that much precision, why can't it just keep doing that forever? In 1952, a Nobel Prize-winning immunologist named Peter Medawar solved this, and it has almost nothing to do with wear and tear. Picture natural selection as a filter standing at the door of every generation. It only catches what shows up. For most of human history, almost nobody died of old age. They died of predators, starvation, infection, childbirth.
A mutation that caused catastrophic damage at 20, before you'd had children, got filtered out instantly, every single time. But a mutation that only caused damage at 60? Selection never even saw it. It rode along for free, generation after generation, because almost nobody lived long. 5 years later, biologist George Williams pushed it further. He asked what selection might actively reward, not just miss. Williams proposed that some genes are a package deal, a real advantage in youth bundled with a hidden cost decades later.
His own example, a gene that helps deposit calcium efficiently, giving you strong bones and fast-healing wounds in your 20s. That same gene, 40 years on, is quietly helping calcify your arteries.
So what does that actually mean for you? Aging was never a system failing. It's a contract signed on your behalf before you were born, in a world where nobody survived long enough to read the fine print.
But if that's universal, if every species runs on the same rules, there shouldn't be any exceptions. There are some very strange exceptions. Meet the animals that make evolutionary biologists nervous.
A naked mole rat is roughly mouse-sized. A mouse is dead of old age by year 4. Mole rats are still healthy, still breeding past year 30, and researchers tracking them found their risk of dying barely increases with age at all. In decades of study, scientists have documented only a handful of confirmed cancer cases in the entire species. Part of the reason? Identified in 2013. Their tissue produces an unusually heavy-duty molecule called hyaluronin, which makes their cells almost obsessively sensitive to overcrowding, shutting down runaway growth before it can ever become a tumor. Then there's the Greenland shark. In 2016, scientists radiocarbon dated the lenses of shark eyes, which lock in a chemical timestamp from birth, and found some sharks alive today may have been born before your country existed. Estimated lifespan? Up to 400 years. They don't even reach sexual maturity until around age 150.
And then
The one that breaks the metaphor completely. The immortal jellyfish. When it's injured, starving, or old, Turritopsis dohrnii does something no other known animal does. Its adult cells reverse. Through a process called transdifferentiation, a fully mature cell forgets what it is, and the entire jellyfish collapses back into its baby form to start over.
So here's the so what. Every one of these animals proves aging isn't a fixed law of biology, it's a dial. Species with almost no outside threats evolve to turn that dial toward repair instead of racing to reproduce before something eats them. Which means the dial inside your own cells isn't stuck by necessity. It's stuck by evolutionary neglect.
So what is that dial, physically? What's actually breaking down inside a human cell?
In 1961, biologist Leonard Hayflick ran an experiment that overturned the reigning science of the day. At the time, thanks to a Nobel Prize-winning surgeon named Alexis Carrel, the accepted belief was that cells were essentially immortal. Carrel had claimed to keep chicken heart cells dividing in a lab dish for over 20 years.
Hayflick's own human cell cultures kept stopping, always around 40 to 60 divisions. Rather than assume it was his own mistake, he teamed up with cytogeneticist Paul Moorhead and deliberately tried to rule out every alternative explanation. Contamination, bad technique, some unknown lab artifact. The result held. It wasn't an error. It was a built-in counter.
That counter turned out to be telomeres, small protective caps on the ends of your DNA, the same way a plastic tip stops a shoelace from fraying. Every division shortens the cap. Eventually, it's too short to protect the DNA underneath, and the cell locks itself into a permanent, non-dividing state. Scientists call it cellular senescence.
So what does that mean practically? Aging isn't one thing happening in one place. It's a cascade. In 2023, researchers writing in Cell mapped 12 recognized hallmarks of aging. DNA damage piling up faster than it's repaired, cells losing their own instruction manual, and critically, old arrested cells accumulating in your tissue like rusting machinery nobody hauls away.
That last one, senescent cells, sounds like the villain of this story. Cells that stop working, refuse to die, and just sit there. So here's the obvious question. If they're that harmful, why hasn't evolution deleted the program that creates them? Why would your body build something this damaging on purpose?
Because it isn't a mistake, it's a decision. And understanding why your body made that decision is about to change how you think about aging completely. Here's the twist. Those senescent cells we just called the villain? Biologist Judith Campisi spent decades proving they're not a malfunction. They're a bodyguard. When a cell's DNA is damaged in a way that could turn cancerous, your body has options. Kill it outright through apoptosis, or freeze it, permanently locking it out of the ability to divide again. That's cellular senescence, not decay, a cage. Your body takes a cancer risk and welds the door shut instead of letting it multiply. Now think about what that actually means. The exact switch that ages you, the one piling up rusting cells in your skin, your joints, your organs, is the same switch currently stopping uncontrolled division somewhere in your body, right now, while you watch this. The cells that never age, that ignore every stop signal your body sends them, we already have a name for those. We call them cancer. This is the same trade-off from Chapter 1, antagonistic pleiotropy, except now it isn't abstract theory. It's happening inside your actual cells. Young, this switch protects you. Old, the same switch, now firing for decades, becomes the thing wearing you down. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Some of the best-funded labs on Earth are trying to defeat this switch. In one 2023 study,
old mice given a gene therapy that partially reprogrammed their cells back toward a younger state lived over twice as long in their remaining lifespan, with measurably better health. It sounds like the dream.
But you can't casually override a mechanism that's been your built-in cancer defense your entire life without asking what happens when it's off. The researchers chasing this know it too, which is exactly why the real work is so narrow. Not switch it off, but find the impossibly precise dose that clears the damage without disabling the defense. That's the actual dark side of the anti-aging dream. It was never really about whether we could slow aging down. It's about whether we can do it without quietly trading it for something far worse.
So if aging is written into your evolutionary blueprint, and scientists are still years from safely rewriting it, what does that leave you tonight? One thing. Of the 12 hallmarks of aging, almost none are things you can walk into a clinic and fix today. But there's one lever that touches a startling number of them at once, and the data behind it is enormous. A 2018 study following over 120,000 adults for nearly a decade found that cardiorespiratory fitness predicted how long people lived better than almost any other single measurable factor. And there was no ceiling. The fitter people got, the lower their risk kept dropping, all the way to the top of the scale. You don't need a lab or a reprogrammed gene to act on that tonight. You need one session this week that gets your heart rate up and keeps it there for 20 to 30 minutes, something that makes conversation hard. Not because it stops you from aging, nothing does, yet. Because right now, it's the single most proven lever you actually have. You now know why your body was never built to last, and why the exact switch responsible is also what's standing between you and a disease you fear far more than wrinkles. But knowing the switch exists is only half of it. The other half is the race happening right now to control it, without opening the door to the one thing it was built to stop. That fight, the real science of reversing human aging, is where we're going next.